This is a private message to one of the members in the coaching group, but I'm going to record it in a way that's general and doesn't have their private information so everyone can get a benefit from this. So I record it as a one-to-one message. Well done on your check-ins. We've been using the traffic light system, which is green, amber, red to indicate your mood and energy, and you've been indicating green for most of the days in the morning to show that your general mood and energy has been good. The traffic light system works very well because it's a very simple indicator to let me know as your coach and mentor how you are feeling and whether you need any extra attention or anything. Sunday is a great time to do your weekly reflection. The balance wheel is a good place to start. I always recommend focusing on three main areas. It seems that you've been focusing on health, wealth and relationships. They're the overall categories anyway. In terms of health, I'm not going to go into what you've actually done, but I'm going to talk about metrics. I gave you the idea of having three measurements: an absolute minimum baseline measurement, your target measurement, and a stretch. Your absolute minimum, regardless of what happens, you try and keep that tick in the box. Your target is what you're actually going for to make progress, and if you're feeling really good, then you go for your stretch target and you push beyond that because you're in good energy and mood. When it comes to wealth, let's say that you've got a weekly target of £500 income. That's your metric that you're measuring by. But let's say you've only generated £400. Now, a couple of things can happen here, and this is the risky proposition with coaching and mentoring. Someone who's got a target of 500 but only generates 400 could beat themselves up saying that they didn't hit the target. But that's missing the point that you actually generated the £400. And I'm not saying these are your targets, but I'm just using those figures as a general thing. That's why when we do the coaching, weekly coaching reflection, the weekly reflection journal, we go through 6 questions. What was your goal? That's the area that you're working on. What actions did you take? That's the actual steps that you've took, the movement. Then we focus on what went well, and we ask that 3 times. What went well, what went well, what went well. In this case, let's say you've used that example of £400, you've generated £400. Then you can go on to what didn't go so well, which is obviously not hitting the actual target. Then you can go on to what did I learn, and then what improvements can I make. And this iterative process every week of reflection on the past week, learning and lessons and adjustment going to the week forward is where growth actually occurs. Most people don't even take the time to actually reflect back on the week. They're stuck in the emotions that they're actually feeling rather than doing the introspection and the reflection. The way that we've got it, you've been doing really well. The process is that you send a morning check-in with your tasks, objectives, targets for the day, and you've done an evening check-in and you've been keeping up to that. That in itself is a big win. A lot of people fall off that commitment of the regular check-in, and I've seen it again and again. So overall, good result for the week. What you want to do on this Sunday is go to the balance wheel. It only takes 5 to 10 minutes to do that exercise. Quickly give you a score on each one of the categories and write a short sentence about how you feel about that. And then pick 3 categories to focus on this week so that you can narrow your attention. It seems that the topic for this week will be overwhelm to clarity. By only focusing on 3 key areas, that doesn't mean that you're not working on the other areas of the balance wheel, but your 3 key areas are where you're putting most of your energy, time and attention. Well done on the check-ins. If anyone else, as I said, I'm recording this as a general message. If anyone else wants to do direct one-to-one check-ins, send me a message and I'll put something in place. It's a very simple process. You send me a message in the morning about what your tasks are for the day, along with the traffic light indicator to let me know what your energy levels are, and you do a check-in at the end of the week, and then I will compile a report on Sunday evening for you so that you can reflect back and keep a record of your activities and progress. Sending well wishes. Hope you all have a good Sunday. And for the person I'm sending this direct message to, I'm not going to include your name, but well done.